which is now Bangladesh, known as Bangladesh today, fighting for their language rights. And those students, there was an opposite force. Whilst they were fighting for the recognition of their languages, there was that opposite force that was actually fighting against them, the system. In the process, there were casualties. Some of those students died. They died fighting for their languages. So it is for the same reason why we are here today. 21st February every year is declared an International Mother Language Day. It was declared in 1999 in November by UNESCO to be recognized as the International Mother Language Day across the world. So all states are celebrating that day, 21st February. This year, we are celebrating that day today, on the 5th of March. We moved the event from the 21st to today because of reasons. Because of some reasons, which I'm not going to say. However, we are happy that at the end of the day, we are gathered in this fashion to celebrate that day, coupled with honoring the class of 2020 matrics, those who are top learners in their languages, the home languages, as well as first additional languages. You would know that in the province, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 5 designated languages in the province, as according to the Northwest Languages Act, Act 1 of 2015. And those languages are Setswana, isiXhosa, Cesoto, Afrikaans, and English. These are 5 designated languages in the province. So these languages are taught at our schools. We have got learners who registered these languages as first language, as well as first additional language, and some of them second additional language. So today we are celebrating those learners who are top in those specific languages, the 5 home languages, as well as 3 first additional languages. I am not going to delve much into that. There is somebody who will be speaking to purpose. She or he will speak to these. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, without any waste of time, I am going to request, my program is not the same as yours. On behalf of the Northwest Provincial Language Committee, I'm going to request the Deputy Chairperson, in the name of Ms. Mbolekwa Sonakile, to come and welcome all of us so that we start with the proceedings of the day. Ma'am Sonakile, over to you. Can we give her a clap of hands as she comes to the front?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ndiyabulisa endlini ngokubanzi. Ngidumelisa baagi babukoni buphirima, our guests and our students of 2020. It is my pleasure to bid you a warm welcome to this occasion. We are here to celebrate our languages, the languages that survived the COVID-19 challenges. COVID-19 failed to take away the passion from our learners for their subjects. for their home languages, I mean. And that is why we are here today. I would like to say, masivuyeni sonke, masigcobeni ngale mini, intle kangaka uThixo asikhethele yona. And as I welcome you, I would like also to emphasize that we keep the distance as it is, because we are still observing the COVID-19 regulations. We also keep our mask on so that we become safe. I appreciate that everyone who was invited made it to this event. We are so happy on behalf of Northwest PLC of PanSALB and the Department of Arts and Culture of the Northwest Province, Bukoni Bupirima, siyanamkela nonke. Andizuthi ke nikhulule ijasi, andizuthi nibeke intonga phansi, ngoba intonga zethu these days are our masks. Let's keep on sihlomile ngezo ntonga zethu. Kunzima ke ukungena ezihlangini zomuntu. I don't know uba uchairperson ebezawuthini xa enamkela, but ke seniza kwamkela my welcome, ngoba ndingena ezihlangini zakhe. Siyanithanda bantakwethu. Enjoy and celebrate with us. Thank you, Mr. Program Director.
Thank you very much, Deputy Chairperson of the Northwest Provincial Language Committee, Ma'am Mbolekwa Sonakile. Ga tswalla ba gaetso o buile a re o tsene mo ditlhakong tsa modulasetulo wa komiti le nre Seleka. Ke batla go le utlwisela gore le utlwe gore puo e ntse e bua ke a itse le one. Ke a itse re malindi ke itse puo yo rra. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this event is streamed live on social media. Your Facebook is also on YouTube, and there will also be a link to Twitter. And we also have UFM here in our midst. It will also be live on 7 community radio stations. So we take in language very serious. You know that when we talk in language, we struggle to get media people around. But we are happy that today we have a number of them, and then we are going to ensure that wherever they are, wherever they are, we're taking our languages very, very seriously. Without any waste of time, ladies and gentlemen, my duty is not to speak too much. I am going to call up front from the office of the Premier in Bojanala, Ms. V. Moremi, to come and do reflection on HIV/AIDS and COVID-19. Ke kopa mme Moremi a tsamele ka kwano fa re mo amogela ka legofi.
Motsamaisa tiro ke a leboga. Ga ke ne ke ka bua segaetsho ka gongwe ba bantsi ne ke tla ba ka ba ditsebe, mare ntumeleng ke le bue leleme le le leng teng ka kwano. Ke tla tsamaya ke a tswakanya. I know that usually when we do the reflections, as we started in 1981, when the pandemic of HIV was with us in South Africa, it's exactly in February also, which means it's 40 years back. Something that we were speaking about, if you could just remember, those who are 40 years and older, they will remember the billboards that said, AIDS kills. And closer to them, there was a lekeselele la tlhapi, a ke tlo la gopola. La tlhapi Was it meant for HIV positive people or what? But the billboard said AIDS kills. It's exactly 40 years back. When the then government was not even providing ARVs. That is why there was those words, AIDS kills. Today, when we speak of HIV, we are not even afraid. One is not even afraid of disclosing his or her own status based on the ruling party's government now. Because after that, they saw it deemed that ARVs need to be provided at our clinics, and our people are living their lives in full. But apart from that, as the office, we still say, as today we are talking about COVID-19, we are saying put your mask on. We are saying, please have a protected sex. I'm just going to call it as it is. Because if you have not put it correctly, it might burst and cause yourself to become HIV positive. Today, as we speak of COVID-19, it's exactly a year old when it was discovered in South Africa. Exactly 1 year today. When one Muruti Onaileko Kerekemko Bloemfontein was said to have been infected with COVID-19. And today, it's a new normal. We are on our masks, we do not touch, which means any pandemic, when it comes with conditions that we must observe. Today, I am here to promote both conditions, especially on HIV, on taking care of ourselves. And if we are younger, we are not married, or we are not at that age, please abstain. I'm speaking this to my children. Please abstain and wait for the right time, because you might get it before. And what are we saying to our children who are born with it? Because that is a gray area. That is an element that we never touch, that we still have children that are born with the disease itself. What are we saying to them? Much as the churches are speaking abstinence, whilst us as parents, we are talking abstinence, what are we saying if they want to get married and the other partner is HIV positive, from maybe taking it from the parent or being infected in any other way that one can think? Because we are saying treat every blood as positive. So we need to continue treating every blood, whether it's on the ground, whether people are on an accident. Please try to put on even some plastics on your hands if you have got to assist that person. Because that was the new normality by that time, 40 years back. But today we are coming up with a new normal again. The new normal is that we are putting on our masks. And because it is a pandemic also, maybe we don't know how long will it be with us, or how many people will pass on because of COVID-19. You know, when it started, it was like statistics. When it came on the TVs, we were looking, because we were all home, we were looking at statistics. We were saying, oh, now it's 5 people who have passed on. Now it's 10. Today, we no more say it's numbers. We are saying so and so. The person that is close to you, or the person that you know that has passed on because of COVID-19. And today we are saying there is a vaccine, much as the scientists are saying a lot of things about them, the Johnson & Johnson, that we are going to get the jab of it. But we need to continue taking care of ourselves. if you look at the two diseases, it says take care. That bottom line, it's take care. In my program, when it comes to March month, I'm also speaking about TB. There is no way that I can divorce myself from TB, because on the 24th of March, it is International Day of TB. TB used to be called that it is a disease of people that do not have, that don't have. Ba ba sa itsholelang. Ne gote re bule matlhabaphefo, gote ba le ba re goletseng ko megwafatsheng, ko mantlong a la rona le a neng a na le tlhabaphefonyana le le ko godimo. Re na le open door policy. Even now, we still say let us practice open door policy and open window policy. So is COVID-19. We are saying let us open the windows because we want to see free flow of air that comes in and goes out. So to me, it was just to remind ourselves. And at the moment, I would like ourselves to remember, especially those that passed on because of HIV. Those who passed on by the period when ARVs were still not there. Those who are living positively with the disease. Those who are taking their ARVs religiously so. When they are told that it is 1 tablet per day, remember as we started, it was 6 tablets per day. That is 3 in the morning, 3 in the evening. But because of a lot of research being done, it's only 1 tablet per day. I understand that the researchers are moving towards having 1 tablet per month. I'm still not sure about that. It's still something that is in the pipeline. And obviously, there might be resistance when it comes. We don't know. But it will be proven before it is given to us. Let us remember those who are living positively with the disease. Let us also put in mind those who do not know their status, and of which to me it is a concern, because our clinics, our mobile clinics are giving testing for free. Maybe if you don't know your status today, please check on your status. And also let us acknowledge that COVID-19 is with us and do as we are being told. Yes, we would wish to hug one another. We would wish to embrace one another. But because of the condition of the disease, we are just being told that let us just do the elbow greeting. So let us adhere to that so that we are safe and keep our children safe. Drink a lot of water in both cases, whilst on HIV or on COVID-19. Why? Remember how your body is structured. Most parts of your body are done, it's composed of water. So if this water goes down, automatically you will be immunocompromised. That is why you find that most of the people that are HIV positive, if they don't drink a lot of water, they will develop even kidney problems. And automatically it will go to sugar. And one was saying, what is AIDS? What is HIV? Is it a disease? It's not a disease. It's just an acronym of the behavior of the disease. Because it would want you to eat well, much as COVID-19 wants you to eat well. It will want you to drink a lot of water. We know that, people know that we need to drink 8 glasses of water at least per day. You can drink more. But those are the things that we need to remind ourselves so that our kidneys should function well, and our lungs also. Take care of your lungs, especially when we come to COVID-19, because that is the most area that is affected by that. When we are speaking about HIV, obviously we're talking mostly of promiscuous people. We'd say people were promiscuous. I don't know that word. It's an English word, ne? But we talk about the sex workers, the what, those are the stakeholders that we are working with directly as the Office of the Premier. Now, today I am saying all those that have passed on because of HIV, they still remain our brothers, our fathers, our mothers, our sisters, our aunts, our uncles, our friends, and everybody that we know, our neighbors. Can we kindly take this moment, stand up, and remember those who have passed on because of that? And also acknowledge and remember those who died because of COVID-19. There were people that were sitting closer to you in school, if you are a student, even at work that you used to be closer to, that has been taken by this pandemic, and we are saying, let us remember them all. Can we kindly bow our heads? Father, we thank you. We magnify your name. Father, we remember our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our fathers, our aunts, our uncles, our neighbors, our communities that have passed on because of these two diseases. And obviously, those who passed on because of TB, because we knew that when you had TB, some of the people passed on because of it. So Lord, we are saying, we ask for your wisdom, we ask for your strength, that you might guide us even today. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Thank you, Program Director.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Remy. Ke kopa re mo opele magofi. We have heard you, Ma'am. We heard you, re go utlwile. I'm not going to subtract nor add to what you have said, lest I spoil it. We are moving with our program, ladies and gentlemen. On our program, we are now on the item introduction of guests. I am going to be introducing our guests this morning. The very important guest is the guest I'm not going to mention. If I happen to skip you or not to mention you, know that you are the most important guest. Because this is a difficult task, that of introducing guests. They will say, it's not an easy thing. Without any waste of time, ladies and gentlemen, in our midst, we've got Dr. Tumelontle Tiba from the IEC. Ke kopanga ka Tiba a eme fela ka maoto mo a leng gone re mmone re be re mo amogela ka legofi ra go amogela maetso mo North West Province ha go bua ka IEC go bua ka ngaka Tiba yo amogetswe ngaka re na le delegation ya the sign language interpreters in our midst. Ke ba fa ba eteletswe pele ke mme Siboni ke kopa gore ba eme ka maoto. I think we've got the three of them here, le Mogane and Betuel le mme Siboni fano sign language interpreters fano fa ba ga se re emetse dipuo tse di farologaneng tota le yona ya sign language. We've got the chairperson of the Setswana National Language Body, modula setulo wa lekgotla la bo setšhaba la puo ya Setswana. Ba ba mo itseng ba tle ba utlwe mo radio motsweding FM gangwe le gape a tlhagelela fa le rekaka mokakale. We have him in our midst. Ke kopa ema ka maoto re mone. Me Vivian Moremi ke kopa eme fela gape ka maoto le fa ntse le fa a bua re mone gape go tswa kwa lefapheng mo OOP section ya lefapha la Arts, Culture, Sport and Recreation. Premier's office, sorry. Re na le ngaka magareng ga rona fa ba gaetso fa ga se bo Mr le bo Mrs fela dingaka di gone, di professor di gone in our midst today. Re na le Re Motheo, Ngaka Motheo Koitsiwi from the Northwest University, Mafikeng campus. He is the acting director, I guess, for agriculture, and am I representing you well? That Ngaka, IKS, Indigenous Knowledge Systems. We've got a poet amongst us. Ha go bua ka poem ba gaetso ke na le go tsaba ke mafonfonyana ke tlhalosa a poet or ke tlhalosa puo ya pokota ta mme ga nkitla ke tsana mo ke tloga ke itebala ke te go class. Who is going to ignite or to excite us ka puo ye molodi e tsitsibo sa maikutlo le tlhaloganyo sa bui mo ditlotlong tsa ka metlha le metlha. Puo ya poko e leng Thapelo Pule o gone in our midst. I make right. Ladies and gentlemen, re na le baruta bana go tswa go dikolong tse di farologaneng, teachers from different schools, your HF Tlow, your Mahlale, Val Reeves, Technical High, le tse dingwe tse ke sa di bitseng ka mane ke kopa all the teachers from these schools, please, wherever you are, just stand up so we can notice and recognize you. All the teachers from our various schools, ba batlang le bana ba rona, a re ba amogeleng ka lekgofi. You are welcome. Thank you very much. You make us proud. We are here because these kids are here because of you. We know your contribution mo matshelong a bone with regards to language. Re la amogetse ba gaetso. And right, we've got Professor Joseph in our midst. I think he's a parent, but he's a professor from the University of Limpopo. Thank you, Prof. And I want to assume that as I call teachers, the principals also stood. I know that Peter is a principal of Hoer School, Rustenburg. The principal and others who did not stand up. Thank you. We welcome you, sir. In our midst, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the spokesperson, Sibuele Disalefa Palatuto, the spokesperson of the Department of Education in the Northwest Province, Ntate Elias Mhlopeki Malindi, Kopara Aimeka Motofalen Terma Moher. Thank you very much, sir. We have officials from the Department of Arts, Culture, Sport and Recreation under the leadership of Mr. Thabo Mabe. Ke kopa go mo introduce pele, the Chief Director from the Department of Arts, Culture, Sport and Recreation. Re Thabo Mabe a eme ka maoto fa le nte re tla re mo amogela ka lekgofi. O sa tswetse ko nte re tla re mo amogela habo. And may I also request all officials from the department, same department, Bo Medeker, Bo Retingwe, from different sections of the department, please, how is Rose Okolefa Penlo, Emma Fela Kama, Autorita Ramogela Bahet, Bo Mekabelo, Yalo Yalo. Can you all stand on our feet so we can welcome you? Babangoba Fantla Falabari Tusa Bahet. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the PanSALB manager in the Northwest Province, Pan South African Language Board manager in the Northwest Province in the name of Re Willie Manana. Ke kopa gore mo a leng teng a eme ka maoto re mo amogele. Re bua ka PanSALB mo bokone bo primary bua ka Re Manana. Mme ke kopa le ba kantoro ya gagwe bo bra opa bo ga ba le teng fa ba eme ka maoto le bone re tla re ba amogele semmuso Ntate Upa ke lo ntse re direla branding fa wa amogetswe rra. I will be failing in my duty, ladies and gentlemen, if I fail to introduce the members of the Northwest Provincial Language Committee, Bomadipuo mo province ya Bokone Bophirima. Baba maphata mabedi ba ikarabela ko PanSALB African Language Board ga mmogo le ko lefapheng la province la botsweretshi bo setso metshameko le boitapoloso. Tiro kgolo ya bone le go advisa the MEC of the department mo mererong yotlhe fela e amang puo. Mo gare ga rona fa re na le ditokololo tsa komiti eo tse di emetseng dipuo tse di farologaneng. Go emetse dipuo tse di farologaneng mo komiting eo mo Bokone Bophirima. Yaanong ga ke go ba introduce one by one, ladies and gentlemen. You have already seen the deputy chairperson o neng a re direla a re welcome fa. Chairperson of the committee ke ntate go itse Modimo Seleka ga ise a gore go santse a tlatla ke ta mo introduce ga a fitla. And all other members are here in our midst. Ke kopa gore ba eme ka maoto le tlele ba bone bo mama kena bo re mokwatsi bo osnozi mang ka maoto. In the meantime ha ntse ke bua maina a lona bo Dr. bo Renzime bo Medite bo gole pone sa jalo jalo. Right. Ke bone ba ba gaetso ke tsone ditokololo tsa committee ke na le bona ra la mogala ba gaetso re na le Nthabiseng a itse ra teng fa ro ko ntle ke ene administrator wa this committee. So ra la mogala ba gaetso bile re lebogela le tiro e le dirileng gompieno jaana re be re kokwane ka tselentseng jaana. Ga ke batle go iphitlhela ke tlogetse ope kwa ke be ke tloga ke seka. Ladies and gentlemen, ke rile ka re hanga go lebala ka phoso o itse gore kwa ena mo pelong ya gago o itse gore kwa ena fela moyeng tota wa tlotlego. Mme go na le batho ba re leng fa gape ka bonefa, the learners, class of 2020. These are our learners who are taking their languages very seriously. They did not say maths is the only important subject, physics is the only important subject. They also said, we also want to do well in our languages, to show them. Kana gore pass maths or pass that geography, you need to excel in language. So they did well. Throughout the province, the learners who are here today, they are number ones in the languages. So ke kopa gore ba eme ka maoto. Some of them are not here. I know they are already at the universities and so forth. Batsadi ba tlile ba ba emetseng le bone ba eme le bone ka maoto. All the learners, please stand on your feet so that we can welcome you. Welcome, class of 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, ha go na le ba ke ba lebetseng from time to time ke tla ke ntse ke ba itsisi jalo. My advisors are here, but tla nkitsi ha go na le ba ke ba lebetseng gore ke ska ka tloga ka kgwatha. Without any waste of time, parents, thank you very much, Deputy Chairperson. Batsadi ba gaetso, all the parents who are here in our midst, ba ba felegeditseng bana, ke kopa le lona le eme ka maoto re lo amogele. Le amogetse batsadi le amogetse. Re a leboga Thotsana Thunya o e amule letseleng. Thotsana Thunya o e amule letseleng. Kgaka kgolo ga ke na mebala e di kgakane. Right. Without any waste of time, ladies and gentlemen, may I call Leponesa. Leponesa, the Cesoto representative within the committee, go tla gore direla purpose of the day. A tla gore bolela gore why are we here? Leponesa a re mo felle go fifa tla ko pele ba gaetso. Thank you.
e re ke le dumedise dingaka tse teng ka hare ho rona, matona, lefapha la tsa botaki, setso le dipapadi, komiti ya dipuo, batswadi ba teng, matitjhere a bapetseng karolo e bohlokwa haholo ka nako ya 2020 mo ho neng ho le thata ka lebaka la sewa se re nang le sona. Baithuti ba rona ba re ikotlang sefuba ka bona ba nketseng dithuto tsa bona tsa dipuo pele. Ke a le dumedisa. I will just like to start by saying it is through collective efforts of Northwest PLC and the Department of Arts and Culture to make this day a success. Ka Cesoto re re, through all the restrictions tse re leng ho tsona ha jwale, ntjapedi ha e hlole ke sebata. Mosebetsi o bonolo ha re ho kopanetse. Ho ne ho le boima, empa re kgonne. Ke a leboha. Letsatsi la kasheko that we are celebrating was long proclaimed or officially announced by UNESCO for us to keep on celebrating, promoting, preserving, and protecting multilingualism and language, cultural diversity. Ke ka rona, ba ka etsang hore dipuo tsa rona tse fapaneng di hlomphehe, di tswele pele, jwalo ka dipuo tse ding. We officially announce this day as we commemorate our martyrs and language activists who died for fighting of their languages. Re a tseba le kasheko, during 1976, batho ba ile ba bolawa because they were against one language I cannot mention. And in 1952, on the 21st of February in Dhaka, people were killed because of their languages. So we are here today and say, we are coming here to celebrate, to commemorate those. Ki itse ke rona, ke ka rona, dipuo tsa rona di ka nkelwang pele. As we celebrate, we also recognize our matric students of 2020, sorry. Kanako e boima, e baneng ba sa kgone, they could not go to school. And we know that other parents were not able to help them. Others didn't have the facilities to help them to study. But today we are here and saying, we want to congratulate you for making it in your languages. You played a very vital role mo di languageng tsa lona. And that is the sign that you love your language, you love yourself, you love your culture. I thank you. We could not celebrate this day as it is officially celebrated on the 21st of every year worldwide. Because, as I've mentioned, re na le baithuti ba ne re tlameile re tlo ba amohela re ba award, but their results were not yet released. This day is celebrated on the 21st of February yearly, but the results of the grade 12s were released on the 22nd. And when we check our calendar, The 21st of February was on Sunday. So together with the Department of Arts and Culture, we decided to change the date for today. I think you'll understand and pardon with us. It is not that we are not preserving that date. It is our wish or our intention to invite the nearby schools, language teachers, to come and celebrate this day with us, so that they can promote and they can encourage learners in schools to take their language serious and to love their culture. We can know ourselves. If you don't know your language, I'm not sure that you know yourself. So we promise and say we are here to commemorate and to celebrate the Metric Awards and the commemoration of our martyrs and language activists. So in future, we are going to invite those nearby schools because we feel that we celebrate with those who have already achieved and others are left not knowing what is going to happen to them when they do best in their languages. But in future, we promise that we are going to invite them. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ms. Titeboho Leponesa. Ke kopa re mo peleng le go fi gape go mo leboga ba gaetso. Ke mme wa Mosotho. Ha gona sepe se se monate jaaka puo ba gaetso. You will find a language in each and every subject. They call it a jargon. I can maths, I can physics, there is language, whether it be business studies, accounting, there is language in there. And there is nothing as exciting as language. How about showing you I'm just going to read 1 or 2, 3, which are said to be jokes, but these are realities. In classrooms, in lecture halls, we find these things. Teacher, how old is your father? Kid, he is 6 years. What? How is this possible? He became father only when I was born. That is logic, ladies and gentlemen. Teacher, Joseph, go to the map and find North America. And Joseph goes to the map and says, here it is. Correct. Now, class, who discovered America? The answer, Joseph. Without any waste of time, ladies and gentlemen, just hold on. We are in a celebratory mood, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a funeral. To allow you, any one of you, to pitch a song. Celebrate. Celebrate a song. Just pitch a nice song and celebrate them. Just 1 minute. I jebore tawapelem. Ke a leboga, ne ke batla le ngapane bikinyana fela man ke tswela kwa ntle. Ladies and gentlemen, I said we are representing a number of languages here in this hall. We don't only have the Botswanas here, we've got the Basotos, we've got the Bapedi, we've got the Bathosa, I get, there's a lot of Ba, I get, Bazulu, I get Mazulu, I Bazulu. Renale, the English, Afrikaners, many languages are represented. Sign language is also here. So this is a language affair. So I'm allowing you to express yourself in whichever language you feel free. We are not going to promote one language over others, many others. Research says every 2 weeks, a language dies. Every 2 weeks, a language dies. So you've got to pray hard and work hard, or your language must not be found there. 43% of the estimated 6,000 languages spoken in the world are endangered. So it's a worrying factor. It's a warrant. That's why I'm saying I give you liberty to speak your languages. Not only today or not only in February because it's a language month. No. Every now and then, even at home, we have to make sure that we are advocates of our languages in our homes, in our streets, in our communities, everywhere else. We have to be language. The fact that you are all here, I want to believe that you are all language activists. You take matters of language very seriously. And that is so much appreciated. And Tate Mokakala aba tshega smile ka gore ke motho o ratang Setswana tota o se lwela ka tsotlhe tsa nang natso bagaetso. We are going to have a slide. There's going to be a slide change on my program. Item number 8 is going to come before item number 7. Dr. M. Kuitiwi, the Acting Director, IKS Center in the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Science. Mole khorong la bonetetsi jwa tlhago le jwa bolemirui ba gaetso. Re Kuitiwi ngaka Kuitiwi wa go address the topic, the use of African indigenous language in teaching, learning, community engagement, and research in indigenous knowledge system. So ke kopa re amogeleng Dr. Kuitiwi ka legofi fa tla kwa pele. Welcome, Doc.
Dumela magaetsho yo e memfa ke ngaka motheo Kuitiwi ke tswa go setheong se segolo sa University ya rona ya Bokone Bophirima ko Mafikeng tla ke tse sebaka se bagaetsho ke leboge ba rulaganya ba tiro e botlhokwa e ka gore jaaka ga re lefa bagaetsho re tswa go mafapheng a farologaneng le go di karolong tse di farologaneng fa re tlile fa ka kganya dipuo tsa rona tse re tsetsweng ka tsona go botlhokwa ba gaetso gore re ipele ka borona le dipuo tsa rona tsa setso le dikitso tsa rona tsa setso le gore re itse gore bo mang re kgone gore re ruta bana ba rona gore ba itse gore ba tswa ko kae ka gore ga o sa bue puo ya gaeno go ra gore ga o itse le tla morago la gago gore o mang o tswa ko kae le gore o eme fo kae le gore o ya ko kae ka boripana ba gaetso ka gore ke lemogile gore re fa ka go farologana ga rona ga ditso tsa rona tse di farologane ke tla tsamaya gape ke ntse ke latlhela sejatlhapi fo ba gaetso ba gaetso with those few remarks I would like to say I'm very happy to be invited to this event which is very important about the phenomenon of our own mother languages, which are very important in the upbringing of our own younger generation, and also in terms of the sustenance of our culture and who we are and where we come from, and in terms of the development of our own knowledge systems as diverse as they are. I'm going to give a very short presentation about the use of our own African indigenous languages in the teaching, the learning, and also community engagement in terms of indigenous knowledge systems at the Northwest University. I was invited here because I'm also a language activist in terms of the promotion of our own languages. I'm also very happy to see that in our presence, people also who are also what we call our own indigenous knowledge experts, Dr. Khorarona, Mama Kena also on my left there. And I'm also very happy that I recognize Dr. Tiba on my right here. She's a former colleague, and also she's a mother, and she's one of the people that I also admire in this academic profession. I worked with her for a number of years at the Northwest University while she was a dean in the faculty of the former Faculty of Human and Social Sciences. I'm very happy also to see Reseleke and other few people that I recognize here also from the Department of Arts and Culture. So just briefly, colleagues, because we don't have the luxury of time, and there are also other speakers. At the Northwest University, colleagues, we are the first university in South Africa to have an accredited teaching and learning program and also research in indigenous knowledge systems that is accredited by the South African Qualification Authority. And the people that we have to give credit to that particular historical background, give one about Dr. Tiba, because all these things happened when she was a dean at Northwest University. Lebo Mama Kena Khoroyadira and others, Bome Masuku, who are our own knowledge holders, and also people like the late Credo Mutwa. Because IKS is based also on the knowledge, the epistemology, and everything that all these knowledge holders know, not only in South Africa, but also outside of South Africa. So Northwest University, like as I'm saying, is a pioneer of indigenous knowledge systems in South Africa. And issues of language are also very important because we cannot teach about our knowledge systems, the language of other people like English. Because, for instance, I visited South Korea, I think 2 years ago. I was surprised when I arrived there. I realized that in South Korea, all their libraries, everything that they have in South Korea is written in their own language systems. It can be anything from biology, geography, science, physics, it is in their language. And you see, South Korea is also one of the countries which is developed globally. So they are not just proud about their cultures, but they are also modernized. So it is possible. And also here in South Africa, the Afrikaners communities have also done these things in front of our noses by promoting their language systems. Because Africans today, it is one of the language that we can talk about as one of the language that was developed by their own communities using their own resources. We can also do the same with isiZulu, Setswana, Xhosa, and other languages that have been marginalized by apartheid in the past. So at the Northwest University, we established this IKS program. We started with the Bachelor of Arts in Indigenous Knowledge Systems. It was in the previous Faculty of Human and Social Sciences, for Dr. Tiba, they were running there by that time. But recently, we transformed that Bachelor of Arts into the Bachelor of Indigenous Knowledge Systems so that we can have all this corpus of knowledge systems, not only the arts, but the sciences, the agriculture, and also the health systems in one program. So this program now, it is housed by the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences at Northwest University, where Professor David Mudise is Executive Dean. So for me, that background is very important because at the end of the day, the future of IKS is not only in the academia, but it's also within the corpus of the indigenous knowledge experts that we have in our different communities, the disciplines of communities, or what they call the communities of practice, and the scientists and the researchers, and other people and stakeholders who are interested in developing what has been marginalized by the colonial architectures of apartheid in South Africa through the Bantu education and other things that we are all aware, like religion and other systems that were also imposed on us as Africans. So, Bahaito, language in terms of the teaching of IKS is very important, because at Northwest University we got also the language policy, which was also launched by the university recently, whereby we are supposed now, when we are teaching, we must be able to use the language that the learners are using as a background language, like Setswana in the Northwest Province. So this put us in a very strategic position at the IKS Center to start to render our curriculum and our teaching and learning activities using Setswana. And that exercise, it will never be possible if we don't work with stakeholders like you, colleagues, because at the end of the day, the Northwest University, as we know, it started as UNIBO in the past. The university that was developed by the communities when they were partnering with any other stakeholders to make sure that we have a university that will represent the interest of Botswana in the province of Botswana. Because you go to KZ and they've got their own universities, you go to other provinces. So we have to be very proud of those initiatives that were started by the community and the history that has been there, to make sure that these young learners who are here, they must know about the history of UNIBO, which came to be University of Northwest and later became Northwest University, because there were also 3 epochs of history that need to be recognized. Today, we are a unitary university which involves Poch, Val, and also Mafikang campus. So, Boremokakale and others, they know we've been in IKS program for a long time, and we are the architects of this program. And recently, other universities are also gaining interest in the teaching of indigenous knowledge systems, like the University of Venda, University of Limpopo, and also University of South Africa. So they are also coming after the steps of Northwest University. So in terms of language, like as I said, Bahaito, when we teach, for example, because we have to be very practical about these things of language, I teach a module at the IKS Center on what I call African Indigenous Astronomy or African Cultural Astronomy, because they used to sing songs, narrate stories, they had mythologies about the sun, the moon, the stars, and other constellations. This knowledge is what we call now today astronomy, because now today people are using modern equipment like the telescopes, but in the past, and even today, our elders, they were using what we call the naked eye technology. And they knew about the existence of even certain stars. Can you please switch off my phone there, please? Sorry about that. They knew also about the existence of certain stars that you cannot be able to see by your own eyes. Like for instance, Cesoto, they know about the star called Jupiter. In Cesoto, they call it Dosa. And you know Jupiter in scientific modern astronomical knowledge, it has also got the moons. That is why in South Africa they talk about Jupiter and its small moons. So Cesoto, they knew that there were also these moons, but these small moons that are the small moons of Jupiter, you cannot be able to see them by your own naked eye. But you have to ask yourself, how Cesoto managed to know that there is a planet called Jupiter which have got the small moons which are called Tosa le Madinyana Ion. It is not only about the Cesoto. You go to Timbuktu in West Africa in Mali. The Dogons of Mali, they knew about the existence of the star called Sirius. And that star, you cannot be able to see it without telescopes. They knew that before even Galileo can develop a telescope. So Africans are scientists. So when we teach young learners in school about this subject, astronomy, physics, chemistry, and all those things, we must be able to show them these subjects and these disciplines. They started in Africa because Africa is the cradle of civilization, which means not only the cradle of humankind, but also the cradle of all these disciplines that you can think about in this world. So our learners must not learn this subject as if they come from somewhere else. And must not only be a question of the textbook exercise and the calculators when we are teaching the young learner. We can also use some of the socio-cultural examples that are in our communities like Morabaraba, Diketo, and the architectural designs that are in our local communities to show that mathematics, it is embedded in our culture. And it is not ethno-mathematics, because we are not the ethnos, we are the indigenous Africans who knows who they are, and they look at the world in terms of their own lenses. And education is not a thing of Europe or that is just in the curriculum. We used to have our own education system like Bomupato, where you find the disciplines of Bujale, Le Bukhwera. And those systems of education were not just about the cutting of the foreskin. There was a hidden curriculum there. When you get out of these institutions, the culture of your own, and you'll be able to be sustaining what you've been learning from. It was not about cutting of the foreskin. So we have to teach these young learners that everything that was being done in our communities was done using our own languages. We know also of the Khoi languages, and even Setswana that is not only not speaking in South Africa, but is also spoken in Botswana and also in Namibia. So our languages, Bahai, so I used to engage with Rek Credo before he left this world. One of the things that he told me that we should use as a strategy to move forward was to promote our own languages. So within our languages, there is so much, Bahai, so because at the end of the day, I would also like those who like to read. There is a book called the Cesoto Dictionary of Mathematics. It is written by one of the scholars called Ndate Zulu Matabo, Zulu. It's one of the classical examples to prove that it doesn't matter whether it is physics or it is chemistry. We can find these things in our own language systems, and we can also relate with whatever that is happening outside there as modern chemistry or physics. And there's a lot of examples, Bahai. So I've done also my studies in African astronomy, Botswana, in Botswana, and also in South Africa, and some studies in Namibia. They prove that what modern scientific astronomers they know, we had this knowledge is long time before they come into South Africa or into Africa. And this knowledge is hidden in our oral traditions, our songs, our mythologies, our poems, and everything. I've recorded more than 50 songs and poems, which I also want to publish, because when we speak to departments like arts and culture and others, we must also see how they resonate within our knowledge system. So within my study, there's issues of oral traditions and African astronomy, where we can look at these poems and publish them retawo, not only from my thesis, but because we are planning now to host the International Indigenous Astronomy Conference in September, where we bring all the indigenous astronomy experts from all other parts of the world, in Canada, Australia, so they can come and share their knowledge on indigenous astronomy. And these are some of the publications we can be able to publish also in our own languages and also in English. So we have to work together with arts and culture and other relevant departments to show also the astronomical heritage that is within our own communities by using our own language systems. I can talk the whole day because these are some of the things that I did not study. They are also in my system because Basoto Bar Haisi Omomadi, Ora Haiting Mahai. So whether you can read the books and go into the internet and the Google and have all these things in your mind, but if this thing it is not there, it doesn't mean anything. So we have to make sure that whatever that we teach our children, it starts first with the knowledge that comes from their own communities, like the Chinese are doing, and the Indians and any other communities outside there. So I'm very glad, colleagues, for Kebekelefa, because in my conclusion, why I'm also here is because I also want to come and call for a partnership with all the relevant stakeholders in the language fraternity in the province, because we're planning at Northwest University to find a way of how we can decolonize our curriculum of education by using language. Because for me, it will make no sense to teach indigenous knowledge systems using English. I have to be very honest with you, because at the end of the day, it means the people bako pitidi suleyang, bako kabalatsani, they will not be able to resonate with whatever that I'm saying there or I'm teaching. So I can use examples from other parts of the world and including English, but I have to start to teach this thing by using the language of the local people, which are the Botswana, and other local languages that are also found in the province. But for Northwest Province in Mafikeng, we have to start with Setswana, Dr. Tiba, so that even the materials, the study guides and everything, we can develop them as Setswana and offer these things, because now we are in the 4th industrial revolution, even through the online systems, even through some of the short learning programs that we can develop using Setswana. Because at the end of the day, I'm working with other universities globally. I also discovered that University of Zululand, they have a virtual course which they're teaching everybody internationally, Sezulu. So if they can do that, it means even ourselves, we can also target this international community, so that we don't make Setswana something of Botswana in Botswana or in South Africa, because there are other people who might be interested in learning this language. As much as people want to learn Mandarin, they want to learn other languages, I think we must also not be ashamed to promote Setswana internationally, not just in Mafikeng, among these young local languages. I think that could be one of the things that we are going to try to take forward, because we know that the young learners are more in the technologies. We'll offer them these courses visually. And I know the market is outside there and the technologies are there. With those few words, my program director and everybody, I'm very happy and I would like to thank you. And I believe this is not going to be just about the celebration. And I know you've got also a very serious record in the province about issues of language. Motswana o rile molomo tshelano ka itletse se se botlhokwa ba gaitso gore a re nneng semphato re dire mmogo re leke go bontsha bana ba rona gore dikitso tsa rona di mo dipuong tsa rona, bana ba rona ba seke ba ikobonya ka gore bana ba rona ga ba itse Setswana ba gaitso, ene ke rona re irang gore ba seke ba itse Setswana ka gore utlwa rona ba gaitso bontate le bomme ga re tsoga mo malapeng a rona ga re dumedisa o krentse re bo halo re o paula hela go ra ngwana hela ma re dumela ka Setswana. So a le keng go dira dilo tse mo malapeng a rona ba gaitso re tsweletseng dipuo tsa rona ka boripana ba gaitso ke a leboga le nkinele matsogo
ngaka Piti o yo go molona ka o buile go tlala seatla go bile sentle ka go dira ile tlhogo mafoko ra dile sentle se metsi o re lailera o re rutile. I want to believe that all of us here we've learned a lot from this very short presentation. Me etletseng molaetsa o ena le molaetsa o seng kana ka sepe. Ke kopa gore ba gaetso once more let's give Ntate Koitsui a hand clap. Thank you very much once more. Allow me, colleagues, to introduce to you the Chief Director in the Department of Culture, Arts, Sport and Recreation, Rethabo Mabe. I introduced him in his absence. He is here. Can you all just give him a clap? Thank you very much. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Ntate Koitsui o buile wa amile a bua go senene ka ga Dr. Tiba le nna ke mo itse sentle ba gaetso. A decade and a half ago I was one of her students go the Northwest University in a University of Northwest at that time. She was teaching me special English span. I remember she used to Arokwatela Remalindi. No, it's not 25 years ago. 1990 something, it's not 20 years. Bo Remalindi, bo Remokakale, babo, Rotary Fitri for Bahas. Yeah, but Kalimela or Tokalakona international. It's international. I get Mokaka until the restaurant. I'm going to the restaurant. Restaurant. Dr. Tibaktura Sansaho Placent. Ladies and gents, we are going to listen to our mother. This Queen's language, we were Kading Kobahais. Dr. Tibanga Katiba Bahaiso, ke Madipu tota. Look on the Sesamanes, Umutuasi woman, like a let you them for the time. Poor Yahayon, Haikaba Tobu, Rasantri to Tagolohuns, this one is on a tota. That's why I came Madipu. Nakara Holeboch, Recoparo Celele, the Santa Batari to Tagolohuns, Mohuena, or Marona tota. Address this topic of fostering multilingualism for inclusion in education and society.
Mathematics left the shores of Africa as a source of pleasure, but returned as an instrument of torture. If the lions do not tell their own stories, the tales will always glorify the hunters. Moradisi, bagolo botlhe ba ba tlotlegang ba ba mono gompieno jaaka rotlhe ra arabetse pilediwa ke a dumedisa ke ne ke romeletse mafaratlhatlha a thusa ke romeletse badira mmogo ka nna bontlhangwe jwa program ya rona ke re ke biditswe ka maemo a mantsintsi a boitshegang le la program manager ke simolla go le bona le gale ke a leboga e khotjwa ile maoto mabedi se se botlhokwa go ke gore re fano mmogo re tle go abelana se re tlang re se tshwere re thusana ka dikakanyo ka gore jaaka ngwaneso a se tsa boletse tiro e tshaba diatla mme bile se dikwa ke ntja pedi ga se thata. Flashback to 1947, the beginning of the tempo of language activism in what was then called Bangladesh. Imagine 1952, the bloodshed, the death. But because history has an uncanny way of repeating itself, fast forward 1976. 2 decades later, enter 1996 and the delivery of Act 108 of 1996, the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. A loeto ruri bagaetsho me loeto jaaka re itse lona le bokhutlo re phuti o boletse gore o na le bothata ba gore diteme di a nyelela. 17 years ago, I prepared a presentation, an article for the Lord Conference in Germany. I was going to speak about how we respond to threatened languages, thinking about the 9 indigenous languages in this country, plus, of course, the Khoi and the San languages. Unfortunately, the university, in its immense wisdom, thought that I should not attend the conference. It didn't really matter because the paper was published nonetheless. Go lwela puo bagaetsho ke ntwa e seng kana ka sepe ke ntwa e matlhomahibidu ga se ba le bantsi ba ipitsang ba lwela kgololesego ya dipuo ba ba nang le sebete ka gore jaaka lo itse go lwa ntwa go batla gore o bole mongwe wa batho ba ba bidiwang bolosho lo dirwang. What is important about this day, though, apart from the fact that we are commemorating the struggle that was crystallized in Bangladesh in 1947 and realized in 1952 with the ultimate sacrifice that even my peers in 1976 lost their life because of their belief, their conviction that in order for a struggle to be real, in order for freedom to be meaningful, languages must be preserved. Languages must be recognized. Languages must be honored. But I'm extremely grateful for the 8 young people in our midst today who have proven to us that we should not worry, even when we feel that our languages are threatened. Because these 8 children, Ronzheimer ke mo rutile Spane, mara wa itse gore nna ke mo rutile gore ngwana ga bidiwe potsane. You know, a child is a child and not a baby goat. These 8 children, our pride and joy, say to us, our languages are here to stay and they will survive. When I was their age, I was taught 3 different languages. Afrikaans is the second language of every person my age in Vryburg. However, because there was no passion in the teaching of the language, ons vermoë en Afrikaans was nie so goed soos dat behoort te wees nie. But we soldiered on because we knew that in language competence lies the freedom to transmit, to articulate our desires, our hopes, and our fears. English came here when it did, mostly through the expansion of the British Empire. And it was embraced for whatever good it brought. But we know that later it was subject to an instrument of abuse, of misuse, of depression and suppression. However, when 1996 came, we saw the light at the end of the 352 years tunnel. We are happy that these 8 children have done so well. You know, met lof degradeer, to graduate, to matriculate with distinction. It's an honor in its own self. I can just imagine the parents, the pride, the gratitude of the parents of these children, that amid everything, the din, the sound and the fury that was going on in the lives of these children, they managed to graduate in languages with distinction. You know, there's no shortcut to distinction. Distinction says sweat, sleepless nights, uncertainty, temporary fear, perceived barriers, because as Henry Ford taught us so many years ago, the barriers are that which we see when we remove our eyes from the glory, from the goal. When we elevate COVID-19 to a status where our failure to act is attributed to COVID-19, we're not going to overcome. And these children have taught us that. These 8 children are greatness personified. These children are going to teach us that it is possible to achieve. You know, when we focus on the negative that was brought about by the virus, we are going to be paralyzed into inaction. These children proved to us, the 8 of them, proved to us that this is a temporary inconvenience. Our aim is to graduate, to matriculate, to graduate high school, to matriculate cum laude, distinction, honor scaling in Afrikaans, met lof, You know, I love that expression because, pardon me, my Zulu kuthiwa uyatsaka. Pardon my and indulge me in ukutsaka kwam. When I graduated with an honors degree at the then University of Potchefstroom, I graduated Medloff, and my chair was written Medloff. And my parents, particularly my mother, who's Afrikaans vermoë was nie so uitstekend nie. She because she lived in Vryburg, she could relate to a few concepts that were uttered in Afrikaans. But my grandmother, who is called first generation Khoisan, read Medloff, and she said, "OC, do you know what this means?" I said, "No, I don't." He says, "It means with praise." So these 8 children graduated with praise. We need to laud them. We need to honor them. We need to say to them, thank you very much for continuing to make us believe in the survival of the 11+1 languages in this country. When I look at these 8 children, I see 4, but I know there are 8. I realize the meaning of success. I come to understand the significance of overcoming. I come to embrace victory. And I come to believe in fulfillment. Because definitely our languages are going to be successful, they are going to endure, and they are going to escape linguistic death. 17 years ago, as I said, when I wrote about threatened languages, I was not 100% certain that our 11 languages +1 will survive. But here we are today, 17 years later, and there is evidence through these children that these languages are here to stay and they will survive. Well, language is a very important part of us because it is a component of each and every one of our cultures. I would have loved to listen to the poetry before I presented because the richness, the wealth of the words that express poetry show us how potent language is. When I was little, about their age, and loved that long poem called Amakeya. I had no clue what Amakeya meant. But the sort of enthusiasm that propelled us when we recited Amakeya, you would have believed that we knew what Bosbaskat and Alekant meant. Only when I got to university and started reading Afrikaans properly now, because it was part of my BPED program, I noticed, oh, this is what it means, Bosbaskat. You know, surrounded, protected, enclaved. How beautiful. And this continues to live because we are a multicultural culture, and therefore it is inherent that we will be multilingual. But we have to make sure that we foster this multilingualism, that we don't pay lip service to it, that we practice what we preach. Language, as we might all know, is a mark of ethnic and national identity. You know, in Botswana, they call us Ma-South Africa, Ma-Transvaal. They call themselves Botswana because they believe that they are the only people in God's mighty world who are qualified to be called Botswana. And I understand because, you know, when you hear a teenager rattles away in Setswana, in Botswana, you will be impressed. When you hear the same teenager speaks English, you'd be equally impressed. Now that the government sends them all over the show, some of them even speak what we term foreign languages, French, German, a bit of Mandarin, and the languages that are spoken in the Thai, in the countries where the government sends them. And these children do not struggle. They just sail through university courses because their foundation in Setswana is firm. Their competence in English is unmistakable. So it is easy for them to venture into the world and go and study languages, in foreign languages, because of the firmness of their native languages. So when I look at these children, I have no doubt whatsoever that whatever institution of higher learning they are going to go to, they're going to excel, because they have already proven that Helet Vermoë and Moedertaal. They've got competence in their first languages. So when they go to university or college or wherever they're going, their brains are going to map the new information onto a frame that is very strong, that was laid by the foundation of which was laid by their parents, strengthened by their teachers, and realized by their own willingness to understand the significance of learning and understanding and mastering a language. Language is a tool of communication, we know that. It might have been abused in very many ways, but its primary reason is to communicate. When you go to Mzee, Prof, I don't know what your first language is. You might tell me if you don't mind. Which one is your most favorite?
I would say Ikara.
Okay. All right. And second most favorite?
English.
Third most favorite?
I speak French as well.
Oh, tu parles le français. Wow, c'est très bon, monsieur. C'est très bon. Merci, pas du quoi. You know, when I thought I was waiting for him to say Kiswahili so I could talk about my limited knowledge of Kiswahili. But, you know, when you go into a different linguistic environment, you start by learning survival, whatever that language is, you know? Because if you know, in Kenya, in my experience, I have yet to meet people who speak English as fluently as most of my Kenyan colleagues. But you should listen to them speaking Kiswahili or their own mother tongues. Oh man, they... When I was doing my practice teaching and I taught in the mountains of Ngoya, and I had to teach children pronouns in Afrikaans, voornaamwoorde. And I was trying to teach them what we term in Afrikaans betrekkelijke voornaamwoorde. And these poor children had to say betrekkelijke voornaamwoorde. Betrekkelijke voornaamwoorde. I said, yeah, I need the patience of a saint. In their linguistic repertoire, there are no R's. And here I'm coming, trying to make these poor children understand the betrekkelijke voornaamwoord in Afrikaans. See, they taught me a lot because I truly believe that you can teach anyone anything at any given time. You know, it will take you first the willingness to learn and the patience of the teacher and the right teaching and learning materials for you to teach anybody's survival, any language in less than a month. Now, the languages have also been abused because languages have been used for assimilation. When my grandmother married into this Barolong family, the family was not very happy with my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, for marrying Mosaro. I get like it's Bajwana or Sarwa Jang. Okay, and you know, so they forced her to speak Setswana as much. She understood Setswana because she was from Tsabo. But here she was being forced to speak Setswana. And she did that. But the one thing that I know, she died at 96 because she couldn't survive my mother's death. Met to that day still spoke her Khoi and San languages. And she taught me to read up to 10 at least, so that I could survive in Namibia, as if she knew that at some point I'll live in Namibia. So language can be abused in that sense, that you are assimilated into this language and you're forced to speak it. And language can be created as a tool for hegemony, for oppressing other languages, and driving them to premature death. We are responsible for making sure that all of them to us. So I am deliberately excluding these learners and making it for them. And we have been taught by virtue that when you speak in a language that someone else does not understand and that person is in your midst, it is a sign of rudeness. Own country and survive elsewhere. I don't know if there's anybody in your midst who got a distinction in Afrikaans. You got congratulations. Now, if you speak relatively appropriate Afrikaans, when you want to learn Dutch, it is going to be easy. If you land a scholarship and go to the Netherlands, The Hague, Amsterdam, it is going to be very easy for you to learn that language. You know, when you are in Belgium, and if you are my age and therefore are allowed to partake in unholy waters, and you know what a draft is, you can just tell them, bier 80 pop. And they'll be fascinated, oh, you speak kitchen Dutch. But you will survive and you will communicate. So even the space for growing at a cognitive level is paralyzed by the manner in which we have mastered your mother tongue, an additional language, and a second or third or fourth additional language. Now, there are quite a number of myths about particularly African languages. Myth number one is that if you are competent in English, they use the term nasal twang for our children who don't speak their mother tongue at all. And we have so much, not only to master of English, but also in a dialect that sounds like they've just stepped out of Oxford Street bus. So when you ask them, oh, okay, I understand that. How come you don't speak Shishona? No, I don't, because you see, I have to increase my chances of getting a job. That is the case. Mastery of the English language is not synonymous with upward mobility. Upward mobility in my book is the sweat of thy brow. So let us not say that everybody who goes to an English medium school will definitely have a job guaranteed for them. That's very so 80. Secondly, the greatest myth, I think, slaughter our own languages, we call participant, Batsameka Karolo. Why don't they take part? Kim isani batsa karolo. Why are they playing when this linguistic matter is so serious? You see, so when we try to compensate for our failure to recognize our L1s, our mother tongues, we use a language that we have created that doesn't mean anything to anybody. Particularly those of us who truly believe that we have to sustain our languages. You know, I know a Tani in Freiburg who speaks Afrikaans, and she said she has stopped watching Seven the Land because of the massacre to her language. We don't correct, you see, when I beg your pardon, Raseleka, but when you say Konka Bokamusho, I have no idea what you say. Khosi Mazulu Bayete, where you are, Silo Samabandlaonke, said, how do you say Yamampela? Because the expression is Yangempela. And you see, when it's televised like that, my 8-year-old granddaughter is going to learn that instead of saying Yempela, she will say Yamampela. We're trying to make room, accommodate, languages by misusing them. That is not correct. That cannot be. In as much as I teach my first years that there is no dumelang in English, I also want people to recognize that you cannot say batsa karolo banna le seabe ke batshameka karolo. They're not playing, they're serious. So this is very important that even when we try to compensate for what we see as inadequacy in our languages, we have to do the right thing. I mean, general science is called bunititsi kakaretso, not a single English word or derivation of English in bunititsi kakaretso. All the mathematics concepts can be expressed in any of our 10+1 languages except English. So we cannot forever, 17 years later, still talk about, oh, we need to develop our languages. Our languages are fully developed. Our grandmothers, our mothers, people my age, express ourselves in our languages. So what are you saying, Kiapelia? I don't speak appropriate Setswana? That cannot be. The other fallacy about, in particular, the hegemony of English is that English is an international lingua franca. Go to France and try and ask a French man or woman where the station is. They just go, no, l'anglais, no. I must have told the story before. I spent an hour going up and down an underground station because I did not know that an exit is sorté. I was looking for exit. So it's international. How come my English doesn't help me? Until I saw a group of American students. What is an exit in French? Sortez. That's when I got out, after an hour. So don't tell me about English being a lingua franca, therefore you have to speak it. As if you'll only go to England and the United States, and remember in the United States, the English is different. That when you go there, you are a South African, they tell you that you speak like the Brits. And we know we don't speak like the Brits. So what, if English is an international language of communication, why can't we make Kiswahili an international language of communication? At least on the continent amongst us. Now, what is it that we call competence? What is competence? Competence is at 3 levels. The first one is linguistic competence. The second one is called content and meaning competence. And the third one is called pragmatic competence. Now, linguistic competence means you can recognize all the rules of that particular language and use the language in accordance with the rules. You know where the noun goes, where the verb goes, where the adjective goes, where the adverb goes, and unlike in French, where they put the noun before the adjective, rona matlaudia, rona alatelwa kiliina. Is that the other way around? Monna yo mosesane. Oh, it's the other way around. Now in French, the name, the noun comes before the adjective. La mansion grand, a big house. So once you know whatever that language is, flot, savor, because you can recognize, it's like a driver who understands the rules of the road. You know when to stop, except in Mahikeng, they don't. You know where to pause, because there's a yield sign except in Mahikeng. The car you drive determines whether you obey the rules or not. They are always about to bump into my Polo 1.4 because they drive something else. But that's okay, that's fine. I'm old enough to die, I don't know about them. Now, linguistic competence says we recognize the rules of this language. Re itse makaela gongwe, ga re dirise makaela gongwe jaaka malatodi, re itse leele gore ga le batla le fapana le seane. We know all that because we know the rules of the language, and that is called linguistic competence, or fluency, as we say it, or flawless language expression. And then there's the meaning. Okay, now, if you know that you're supposed to say, here stand Pule Modise Tladi and Ndala, and not here Pule Modise Tladi and Ndala stand, you know, once you know that you can match your concord, your agreement, once you know that a female pronoun is matched with a female determiner, that's fine. Once you know that the definite article there is not a possessive pronoun, please, the government, the participants, not your participants. We've done it all, you know. You can tell, we have brought here your electricity, your houses. I don't own houses, please. Determiner, possessive pronoun, two different things. Once you know that, then we know that you have linguistic competence. However, you can be fluent in a language. In other words, recognize and use appropriately the rules of that language. But do you say anything? Is there meaning in what you say? Or is it just a collection of meaningless words? So meaning is important. When you teach, can you imagine if I knew in Standard 5 what Boss Basket meant, how much I would have enjoyed that poem? If I knew that I could say with confidence, Blacksum Strale, you know, and not say, but this poem seems like it's a swear word, okay? If I knew then the meaning of Blacksum Strale, I would have understood the Bein Gedachte much better. So meaning goes with, I would get 10 out of 10 for Afrikaans, but for the life of me, I did not understand what Blacksum Strale sonar wat beteken. So it is very important that we teach in a manner that will allow us to be competent in relaying meaning and content. And then finally, a pragmatic competence. You say, you choose your words, your phrases, your jokes appropriately so that you do not offend the person you are in communication with. When you address people my age and you say, you guys, remember I might be relatively fluent in English, but my first language is actually Setswana. And in Setswana, you don't say to Baholo, you guys. In Afrikaans, you don't say to Baholo, you guys. Every person the same or similar age as your parents is Uom, Tani, Ra, Ma. In English, you call people by their first names. Professor Rangaka once threatened his children to take his children from Mabatuhai when they started calling their uncles by their first name. Appropriateness, pragmatic competence. Now, from here, where do we go? We have to teach and learn for overall competence. We have to teach languages in such a manner that the learners can operate with confidence in those languages. We have to learn languages not only learn the rules of the grammar of the language, not only understand the meaning, but also know which word to use when, which jargon to use when, which register to use then. As long as you also remember that in my presence, children are not called baby goats. That is where we start, excuse me, ill-treating them by calling them baby goats. They are children. We have to debunk the myths of linguistic superiority. This language is better because it will take me to this point. No, that cannot be. No language, according to our constitution, is better or more superior than another. That is why even minority languages are reflected in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. So linguistic superiority is a thing of the past. We have to embrace linguistic diversity. Our language identity in this country is called multilingualism. It's not monolingualism, it's multilingualism. You know, when I first saw my professor on a flight to a conference in Gini, I greeted her in Setswana. I said, "Dumela ma." She kept quiet. I said, "Sawubona sis," kept quiet. "Sawubona ma'am." Molo ma'am, kept quiet. And I said, "What's wrong with this person? She is so pompous." Only in the evening when we went to the dining hall did I realize that she was African American. She had no clue I was talking to her. And to my embarrassment, it is in her memoirs. So if you read them, please forgive me. But you see, if we don't embrace our identity as a multilingual country, all of the good things that, all of the battles of 1947, of 1952, all of the deaths of 1976, all of the pain and the effort that went into our constitution will have been null and void. We have to be conscious of what the law provides for. School principals, please, when a language policy is articulated at school, let no child's language be considered inferior, and therefore making it impossible for that child to have a positive identity. As a multilingual society, our education has to reflect that. It is in the law, it is in the policy. Thank you very much and congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tiba, for a beautiful speech. Re ithutile go le gontsi, re rutile mma. Re rutile go le gontsi, re itsetse go le gontsi tse ke bona re kwala dinoutsu fale. Re lebogile go menagane. Ga ke go bua sepe mo go setsong se buile nako e setse re siile nyana ba gaetsho mme le gale ga re maswe jalo. We are going to take a very short break of 10 minutes. We are going to come back 11:45. We have at least until 12:30. If you are late to be in this hall, then we'll be done. At least we are left with few items, few speeches. When we come back, 16 minutes before 12, poet Sister Boss Abaseta Alefa to usher us back into the hall. 11:45, we continue. Short break, there is tea outside there. Before that, we have in our midst the chairperson of the West Provincial Language Committee, Re go itse Modimo Seleka ke kopa ema ka maoto ba go bona raitso ke go introduce in your absence. Ke ena yo ba gaetso. Ke ena yo. Right, that Remalindi, indeed, it is 25 years ago. Totara godile mo. mo diatleng tsa ga me ke gone ke gopolang seng. Yeah, no, at least your arithmetic is very well. Colleagues, ke kopa re tsweleng ko ntle re go nwa tee, 11:45, let's be back. Thank you. May we be seated, please? Let's be seated. Let's call those who are outside to come back. Time is not on our side. Let's be seated and welcome our poet. A clap of hands, please, for the poet.
Ke rata go lebogela monyetla le motsotso. Leina la me ke Thapelo Pule, ke tswa ko Chaneng ko mo Rustenburg, ke ngwana wa ko Phokeng. So when I start introducing myself, I say to you, I am who I am who you see. Even if I had a chance to change, this is the way I'd stay because I know I'm special in my own way. So love me for who I am and not for who you want me to be. Take me as I am and not change who I am, for I am who I am who you see. Even if I had a chance to change, this is the way I'd stay because I know I'm special in my own way. I am Sister Boss. I say to you, yo ke mokwena. Yo maoto a bofefo go siana. Yo tsebe ntlha go utlwa ditshebo. Mana batho kudu. Kwena thella bodibana. Ke Mofokeng ngwana wa Phoka ya Phokeng. Setlogolo sa ditlogolwana sa Kgosi Mmanotsi, Mokgatlhe Tumagole le Molotlegi. Ke raya ene Motswana yo Matepe. Makhakha a gage a ipadile mo phatleng le mo motsamayong wa gagwe a ntse a tidula. Mokwena a kwelisela madibana. Motšhana wa Chaneng a thathametsa banyana ka motšhana gore ba mo sutele a tle a binise makgabe a gagwe a thuntsha lerole. Se ke sethunya sa Bafokeng. Lelomo la le Motsana wa kwa Phokeng. Ka dinaka le letlalo la phala ka mebala ya kgakana fa ba mmoka ba re kgaka kgolo ga kena mebala e di kgakaneng. Botlhale jwa phala bo tswa phalaneng gonne yo o di thetsenyane o antsetselela kitso. Nala pula aine. Dumelang bagolo. The next poem I'm going to do, it's on my musical poetry project I'm working on. It's called Mosadi Kakapa.
Yes. Chess.
kakapa mosadi kaka peo ya botshelo kgankhutswe ya maloba ponelopele ya bokamoso le batjha le bana le bomme le bontate ba setšhaba sa Afrika ikakatlabele kakana gonne mosadi kaka ga nkitla go latlha yes mosadi kaka wena o lerata mosadi kakapa o mautlelo botlhoko mosadi kakapa wa tshwarela mosadi kakapa wa aga.
Thank you very much, poet Yarona. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not going to say anything other than calling forward our Chief Director from the department, Re Thabo Mabe, to do congratulatory address. Re Mabe, over to you. Ke kopa re moamogeleng ka lekgofi.
Ke a leboga program director re seleka modulasetulo wa PLC Memoremi dibuitso tse teng di buile mo lenaneng le bagolo le bana ba sekolo bao ba leng teng ka kwano le batsadi ba bona le barutabana bao ba leng teng ka kwano ke ne ke re le nna nte ke tseye tšhono e go le dumedisa jaaka go tlhalositswe ke bitswa Thabo Mabe ke emefa ke emeletse lefapha mme tota ruri motho o ka beng a emefa ke mokhuduthamaga mme ga lebekwe tlhapi our honorable MEC is sending her apologies and because she's actually engaged elsewhere. Even myself, I'm supposed to be in an EXCO meeting with her because I am currently acting as the HOD because our HOD is on leave. So I just took these few minutes because the meeting started at 11 o'clock. So if you don't see me, please don't think that I do not take this function seriously. I do, and more so that I'm actually here on behalf of the MEC. It's a bit difficult, very difficult to speak after the two doctors. Yeah. Not only because they are doctors, but because of the information that they have shared with us. Every time when this kind of a function is being organized, every year, I get engaged in all forms. I must sign this, I must write this. Every day, these people, they queue at my office, they want my signature. But every time when I have to be part of this, then something else happens. It's either, no, there's another meeting elsewhere, no, you can't go there. And I thought today I was going to be really sitting down and enjoying my labor. Yes, ke tshaba le go bua sekgowa ka gore ke utlwile dikgowa tse di thata fa go botoka ke ipuele Setswana sa etso. I think there are teachers here who have really contributed or who are daily contributing to the development of indigenous languages. Because the aim of celebrating mother tongue is not only to celebrate Setswana because we happen to be in a Setswana-dominated province, is to ensure that we encourage And we advise, for lack of a better word, that everybody must take his language serious. So I want to take this opportunity to congratulate and to really say to our teachers, thank you very much, because obviously you have been the guiding light to our learners over the time. And without your contribution, they wouldn't have been able to achieve what they have achieved. I know I am a teacher as well. I have taught, and in South Africa, I know the difficulties that teachers go through. I also know the difficulties that parents go through. Because people think if you are a parent who has got money, you don't have a problem. All you have to do is to buy your kids some books. And these days, parents buy their kids cars to drive to school. And all sorts of things. It doesn't matter how much money you have. But if you don't participate in the development of your child, it doesn't matter how much money you have. He or she is not going to succeed. So I want to take this opportunity once more to congratulate our parents on ensuring that, well, probably maybe they speak language, they speak their indigenous language at home. And I think Dr. Tiba has really gone to length in articulating the importance of indigenous language. There's a relationship between language and culture. Language enhances your culture. We know that culture is dynamic and ever-changing. So without your language, without speaking your language, leleme la ga mme e seng leleme la ga rre, leleme la ga mme ka gore o le antse mo go mme, mother tongue. Without that, you will not be able to connect to your culture, and as a result, you won't be able to move along with the culture as it changes. In other words, you will link, or you would actually be attracted to anything that passes by. So your mother tongue is quite important. And once more, once you are strong on your mother tongue, everything else becomes easy on the other languages. There's a direct link between language and economy, without really being political, because when I was told that I'm coming to speak on behalf of the MEC, I was like, okay, fine. That's very easy. So I come in here and I ask my colleagues, where is the MEC speech? They say, no, Mr. Mabe, just speak from the heart. So I will speak from the heart. If I speak very well, you must know it's the MEC. If I do not say anything that makes sense, it's me. It's not the MEC. Yeah. So I'm saying that there's quite a good relationship, a living relationship between language and economy. And I always use the example of China. They don't have one language, one indigenous language. They have got quite a number of indigenous languages, but look at their economic development in the world, how they lead the economy in the world economy. And there's also a relationship between language and development as a whole. Many years ago, before the advent of democracy, I know that there was some form of movement within the then Bophuthatswana to have our kids be taught in the language, in the indigenous languages. And most of us we were asking a simple question. Yo, nagana we do the biology ka Setswana. Of course, it was out of ignorance, but doing your learning areas in your own languages, in your own language is quite easy, and I think it will enhance your positive results. We are also living in times of technology. You can imagine the difficulties. Firstly, you must learn English or any other language, foreign language, and then from there you must connect it through technology, whilst you've got your own indigenous language. So I think that it is very, very important. We are not just celebrating this thing for the sake of celebrating it, but it's a great step in liberating ourselves. Because before 1994, all the other languages were, for lack of a better word, termed as being inferior. And once they are inferior, anybody that speaks that language becomes inferior. But thanks God, we now have got a new constitution. Our languages are recognized, our cultures are recognized, and so on. So the ball is actually in our court to ensure that we preserve and promote our indigenous languages. I want to pay tribute to the Provincial Language Committee. Under my Chief Directorate, I've got quite a number of entities that are helping the department to deliver the services that falls within the department's mandate. And I must say that the PLC is continuously really outshining most of them. And I think it is because of the leadership that we have in the PLC, but I also know that it is because their term of office is ever ending, you know, because the more you stay, the more you get an experience and the more you do things better. That is why I don't agree with the people who are saying Kaizer Chiefs is not performing because they have not bought new players. I thought that because they are having players that have been played, they know their weaknesses, they know everything. But, well, there's nothing that I can do as long as Pirates is winning. Yes, but on a more serious note, thank you very much, PLC. Continue to do the good work. Continue to hold hands with the department so that we can be able to deliver the mandate that we are expected to deliver. So we are in a multilingual country, and it is not the intention, I think, of the Constitution to make any other language to be inferior to the other one. All the languages are equal, and people must not think, if I speak English, then I'll rule the world. You know, no, there's nothing wrong with speaking English. There's nothing wrong with speaking Setswana. There's nothing wrong with speaking Afrikaans or Sotho or Xhosa. But make sure that the language that you are speaking is contributing to your overall development. This is what I'm actually talking. I'm actually referring to our young ones. The other day I was here in Pick and Pay in Rustenburg a few years ago, and there was a very old, quite old Afrikaner lady pushing a trolley in Pick and Pay, and you know they go very, very, very slow, and there were like two lady teachers that I knew at that time, and they started talking in Tswana like, "Ay, oye no tlo ba swelaf." Hey, Harold, Potakafa again. And all she did was like, just like, you should have seen how they went through the eyes. So, language is also a tool, as Dr. Tiba have said. I want to close by making my usual joke that I did many years ago, because this is the only time that I make that joke. So if you know about it, hardy. Those who don't know about it, they must laugh. So if it still makes you laugh, laugh again. This guy from Mabiskral, where I come from, is in Soweto, in Eshebin. And he has a lot of money, a lot of money in his pockets. He's busy buying beer. And the guys are looking at him. But he can see, the way they are looking at him, that something is about to happen. So he went to the toilet, put all his money in the socks, and came back to have his last beer, and then left. When he left, they caught up with him outside with knives, and all they were saying was, where is the money? They were trying to, and the money was not there. So I'm saying this just to say to the PLC, try to also talk for Tsotsital. So, so they were like, where's the money? And he was like, I don't have the money. It's finished. They say, no, you are lying. You had a lot of money. And they were like, just, and so they started talking in Tsotsital. No, mutu hana chelete, arim jindeng, man. Arim jindeng in Tsotsital means, let's leave him. Let's leave him. Arim Jindeng. But he could see, he didn't know what Arim Jindeng is. But he could see, these guys, majority of them are saying Arim Jindeng. Two of them kept on saying, Arim Jindi aisan si chelet. Retlam jinda mariri ansa chelet. So he said, Borra, skelan jinda chelete modi kausu. Because he thought Arim Jindeng, let's kill him. Thank you very much.
Acting HOD of the department. Thank you very much for, we've heard you Ntate, for the message, congratulatory message. I've got two announcements. One, if you have not checked out yet, please make sure you do so now. They are just waiting for you outside. If you're still having the keys or the cards, please take them to reception immediately. Number two, if you want to participate in ministering to the internal faculties of your constitution, there are these cards here. Somebody will be giving you this. I don't know whether they have already done that. These are meal tickets, meal cards. On them, Coca-Cola, Coke Zero, you tick whichever drink you want to take during lunch. Please make sure you tick and keep it. You are going to produce it when you'll be receiving your lunch. If you don't have it, hard. Please make sure that you give them to the tickets to all of them. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are nearing the end of our program. We will be receiving messages of support from the Department of Education and the Setswana National Language Body. The representatives batlayalo one after the other. Hotla stata the Setswana National Language Body, the chairperson Ntate Kakamokakale Alatelokere Elias Malindi from the Department of Education. As we receive them, go staging by the clap of hands.
Go tlhogo ya lefapha nama o tshwere Re Mabe go sebueledi sa lefapha la motheo la thuto Re Malindi go tlhogo ya province ya komiti e ikemetseng ya ditlhopho Ngaka Tumelontle Thiba go motsamaisi wa province wa PanSALB Re Manana go mokaedi nama o tshwere wa IKS Ngaka Motheo Koitsiwe go modulasetilo wa komiti ya dipuo ya province Re go ise Modimo Seleka go motlatsa modulasetilo wa lekgotla la bosetšhaba la puo Re ga o retile Lephuthi go barutabana batsadi ga mmogo le barutwana. Good day to every one of you. It is indeed a big pleasure to share this day with all of you here. The International Mother Language Day, International Mother Language and the Top Achievers Award ceremony is a traditional event that takes place annually, organized by the Department of Arts, Culture, Sports and Recreation in cohort with the Northwest Provincial Language Committee. Thanks to the benevolent support from the MEC for the Department of Arts, Culture, Sports and Recreation in the Northwest Province, the awards over the last years are found widely recognized and warmly welcome. As the Setswana National Language Body, we welcome a healthy relationship between the department and the PLC. The relationship that started in 2000 with the intention to promote the preservation and protection of all languages used by the people of the world. While the year 2020 was the most challenging for grade 12 learners who were compelled to study from home for almost 5 months due to COVID-19 pandemic, school WhatsApp groups and support from teachers as well as parents have contributed to the positive outcome of the results. Against all odds, our language students performed excellently well. Our thankfulness goes to all teachers for their strong efforts and support in promoting complex personal development of the young people here, in preparing them for the future career, and mostly in upbringing their young personalities with a faithful mind and open heart. Also, I would like to honor and congratulate all the winners of the class of 2020 Top Achievers with the advanced achievement and outstanding personal development. I'm sure that every one of you will be progressing in future and thus contribute to the common well-being of the whole community. And to our teachers and parents, always keep in your minds that students took you with a great expectations and hope to gain perfect mentor and faithful friend. My sincere thankfulness goes to the Department of Arts, Sports, Culture and Recreation and the Northwest PLC for arranging such a great and outstanding event. I believe the class of 2020 Top Achievers Award ceremony will keep being an opportunity to honor the prominent achievements of our learners and teachers in the next years. Bagolo jaaka Motswana, a re ka kera tsaya ngwana ra mo isa bogadi, re sa molae. Mme ka magokonyana a mannyalenyana a, re laya bana ba rona. Ba itse gore bana ba mphorwana ba tlhamela ba bolai, lore lo jalo sa le metsi. Bogwera go rupa jwa thupa. Thupa ga e gate lore lo kgopo. Lantja le dujwa le sa le metsi. Ntšanyana ya maitela sebatana e bona mamotobotong. Maoto a nong ke phofa, go lamala ga namane ke go robala le mmae. Ipotlapo pelo tshweu e ntsha lobelo, pelo e ntle ke leswalo, kokwana go swaetsang e kwa ntle ya iphataphatela. Phatlaphatla ya phatlalatsa sa mosima se bonwa ke yo thata. Mmatla kgomo kodumela o etse mfata sediba. Ga go kgomo ya boroko, kolobo e ko morago e bonwa ke dintja. Ha ile mphemphene wa lapisa motho o kgona ke sagwe. Sebodu se ja mashudu, sebodu ke sa legano sa nko se latsa letlala. Sa monna ga se tshabelwe gate ke mono wa poto. Maru a senang tladi malematsa. Seboba re bata sa mokotla sa mpa re a mpampetsa. Tsamaisa tiro ke a go leboga.
Thank you, Mr. Program Director. Let me pass my regards to the PLC, PanSALB, and all the speakers who spoke today. I also recognized one of my mentors, Dr. Tiba. She was our lecturer. It's 25 years, Mr. Program Director. That means we are old also, because I think when we were still at varsity, it was 25 years ago. So you can calculate, because we are talking maths also today. So we are somewhere there. And also the acting HOD, Ntate Mabe, to our teachers who are here. Can you wave, dear teachers? Let us see you. Okay, thank you, teachers. Yeah, we can see you. Our parents, can I see our parents who are here? Oh, we thank you so much for the wonderful work that you have done. Learners also, I believe very soon you will be going to different institutions of learning, higher learning. Ladies and gentlemen, 2020 was a very, very year in the history of our department due to COVID-19. We were faced with a very difficult period whereby we had to observe the new normal, where we were talking about the issues of social distancing in the classroom. Everybody who had to enter our schools was subjected to screening. Sanitizer was used throughout in the classroom. So
that academic year was very, very difficult. As a department, we really like to convey our sincere gratitude to the parents and the teachers, and especially our learners. Like Mr. Mokakale was indicating that they had to stay a very long period at home, almost 5 months and above. So it was not easy for them. But against all odds, they performed. Like today, we are here to celebrate the work that they have done, though it was that difficult. This year specifically, we saw a larger number of learners improving in their performance. I mean, in 2020, in different languages, we saw a great improvement last year compared to the previous years. So I think we can give them the round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Even though it was difficult, they worked very, very, very hard. Last year, we saw a number of bachelors improving. I can mention that we had about 11,820.
Remo ka kalele re malindi ke a le leboga ka melaetsa ya tshegetso e ntsheditsweng maswe dinaleng re a lo leboga borra re kopa gore le nne ntse le tshwaragane jalo le rona le lefapha la thuto ga mmogo le lekgotla la bosetšhaba la puo ya Setswana on all matters about languages or on languages ra itse re le na le rona ka dinako tsotlhe borra ra lo leboga. A round of applause once more, ladies and gentlemen. We are almost there. Now we are on the peak of our program. It's about time now. Our learners are here, they all here. Before I forget, somebody by the name of Bongeni Lesogwa, ke tsora ke lina lo tla intshwara like sa pronounce sentle, Bongeni Lesogwa, room number 232. You checked out, but your luggage is still in the room. You left the luggage there, you are going to forget it. So please, ke kopa re o tle go go nna Bongeni o tlo go tsa ski e go room we go ntsha dithoto tsa gago, lest you forget them in the room. Thank you. Ke kopa gore o se nthabise le bampiletseng ba tle ka kwano o se menyana bo nthabiseng ba tle ka kwano. Ke tle go kopa go biletsa ka kwano ba gaetso without any waste of time. Re go itse modimo Seleka, the chairperson of the NWPLC, a tle ka kwano mmogo le Dr. Tiba, Mr. Jobeta le Rre Malindi go tswa kwa lefapheng la thuto. Ke kopa le tsamaeleng ka kwano borra ga ke itse gore ke tla re leme fo kae. Ke itha ke re tla tumela ka fa go na le social distancing yane e re tshwantseng go e observe mokatologano ka Setswana. Sekgala sa mokatologano se nne gone social distancing. Re go itse modimo Seleka le Rre Jobeta go tswa kwa lefapheng. Ke kopa le bampiletseng ba gaetso bo Rre Seleka ga ke ba bone fa o se nthabiseng ba tle ka kwano ka bonako. In the meantime, dikgantshwane tsa rona, our learners ba re leng motlotlo ka bone ba gaetso ba tle go amogela dimpho tsa go dira sentle mo dipuong tsa bona. Yaanong ke a go le itsise gore le itse gore ba tle go amogela eng, ke a itse gore ga ba itse gore ba tle go amogela eng ka gongwe ba ithaba ra go ba fa fela maybe the mug or whatever. They need to know what is it that they are here for. Jaaka ke rile re tsaya dipuo tsa rona serious, o Ingrid ke kopa re o tle ka kwano o go emong ba lefapha le wena ka kwano. Oslindi o buipakanyetsa for the next round. Right, are they 4? Good. Ke kopa ha go kgonega gore re bule mejako e fao re buleng bagaetsho kete re tloga re upelwa yana. Mejako e a e bulega ke re e kgone ga e bereke. Ke kopa ba re kgonang gore bula mejako re buleleng yone phefo e tle e tsene. Dikgantshwane tsa rona bagaetsho ba tle go bona dimpho tse di rokotsang mathe tota tse di rokodisang mathe. O tla ba wa eletsa gore ke to ka bole moithuti mo nakong each go home with 6,000 rand. So ke dimpho tse re tlong go di fa. Ke tle go bitsa fa ka list when I call your name or a representative, please o tle kwano o fete fa o collecte ditlamelwana tsa gago. We will take pictures after. And also the schools tse bana ba ba tsenang go go tsone re tle go di abela le tsone certificate se se bontshang gore top learner in that particular language. So they will display those certificate, maybe the principals of or more notice botong go school. Right, without any waste of time, Afrikaans home language. A top learner is a female student from Westvalia High School in Matlosana local municipality by the name of Bota Ine. You check your 10,000. So let's sing read Bible. Are you jealous? Are you jealous? Right, Afrikaans first additional language, top learner from Potchefstroom Girls High. There is no representative, I'm told. Mele Ponisa Tata Mengwana ke Wopperman Bianca, a female student also from Potch local municipality. Thank you very much. Direla kapelo medite bogolo na o tsa di photo. Good. And English home language, ladies and gentlemen, it's a learner from Ferdinand Postma, Potchefstroom. It's a male by the name of David Stephen Asiwe. The surname is Asiwe. David Stephen. English home language. Oh, Daddy is coming to fetch it, Professor. I'm told Oko University of Cape Town studying medicine. Yes. Come, Prof.
Thank you all. May God bless you. We are good. May God bless you. My hands are full.
Okay. The next awardee for isiXhosa home language from Valriffs Technical High School in Matlosana local municipality by the name of Mhlwane Amanda. Amanda. What's happening? That's the name.
This is another Steve Harvey moment.
Ke malina le le siameng bagaetso? Mhlwane mang? Amanda. Okay. Okay. Ke ne ke itse jalo. Ya no why? O ba mo file so se. All right. Re ke Sexhosa home language. Re fitile ka yona isiana. Good. Ra ko Sesotho home language. Thank you, Amanda. Cesoto home language. Go tswa ko Mahlaleng High School in Matlosana. Leina ke Ramorakane Dumelo. And re ya ko Setswana home language. Setswana puo ya gae. Go tswa ko HF Clow High School, Rustenburg Local Municipality. Ke Nongta. Baska tloga ba tripela bana di check tse ba re ba tshotse di 10,000. Ba tla yone box e fela ba getso. Re mabe. Right, re a leboga Setswana first additional language. Go tswa ko Rustenburg of Food Kindergarten college ne ke college ya ke college Africans. Right, it's a mail from Rustenburg Local Municipality by the name of Mosoile Omogolo Collins. Right. English first additional language ba tlogetse dilo tsa ga ka phoso ka fale mediator ha ke motlola yalo e ka re ne ke itse English first additional language go kopa e ka re go na le moemedi go tswa ko Rustenburg High School. The name is Kaiser Yana. The principal is coming. Yeah, other staff will get them soon now. Re a leboga bagaetso. Re ya ko ke kopa Magofi. I'm told she is number 3 in South Africa, Recha. And in the province she's number 1. Right, thank you very much. Yes, a round of applause for our recipients, our awardees. Remember, after all this, all the awardees and the schools must remain here before we go for lunch. But we are awarding schools. Oslindiwe Kopant Otakakwano, Oslindium Zondeki, and Nakamotel Kuitiwi, Kopatla Kakwano, Oskabelo, Hosokole Fape, Atla Kakwano Lene, Recopele Remokakale, Batle ka kwano. Batle ka kwano, we are going to award schools. Right. Are feletse bagaetso? Delegates from the schools, principals, teachers, please get ready as you come to receive certificates for your schools. Ramkakale, remeka wena ka kona sa. O ema ka fa. Ka fa. O tla feta fela fa o right. Bagaetso. Eval Reef Technical High School. Grade 12, is it Xhosa? Home language. Eval Reefs. Hona ke bopaki ba hore Mahlaleng High School le yona e ntshitse morutwana sehlopha sa 12 akere ya hlwahlwa puong ya habo ya Sesotho. Mophato wa 12 morutwana yo gaisitse mo serutweng sa Setswana puo gae HF Clow High School. Right, Rustenburg of food kende ge kolege ke yone ke buile sentle ke batlo go seka. Right, yone ko sekolong se ba gaetso go na le morutwana yo gaisitseng mo Setswana puo tlaleletso ya ntlha mo mophatong wa Marematlou. Ke tsona dikolo tsa rona tseo re a leboga bagaetso lefter le lebogele ko barutabaneng le ko bagokgong ba dikolo le ba re le ka moso re batla dina le di gape go tswa ko dikolong tseo mme tse dingwe le tsone fa di a di eme pudima di bofile marume tlhantswe di a go tlhabana ntwa ya phenyo ba batla go ke a leboga bagaetso we may set ke tle go kopa gore volunteer all these awardees from the learner side, anyone who volunteers go tla fa just to say a word or two for the learners ba ntseng ba amogela fa dimpho. Any one of you show us that you can speak in any language. You are free, whether you code switch, you use trans languaging, you do whatever. Kim men non tato akere. Kim mem non tato, right? Nabaka ke ba bitsa Mr. and Miss ko dikolong ko ya ko kira ko university ko. Buang on dia behalf na.
Dumelang bagaetso. Yo buang fa ke tshatlhana ya ba ko ena nong thato ke tswa ke le ko sekolong sa segolwane sa HF Clow ka rata ba botlhe ba tsereng tšhono ya go tla fa go tla go keteka le rona le fa go ne go le thata tota mo ngwageng o fetileng mme ke tswelele ka go raya baithuti ka mmogo le nna le bona ba ba dirileng thata gore tota jaaka Motswana a buile gore montsamaisa bosigo gore mo leboga bosele go ne go sa bonagale mo gare ga ngwaga re kgaratlha re dira ka natla re rwala masego ka tlhogo e nna o ka re ga re ditlaela mme jaanong re ipontshitse gore tiro o yotlhe e re dirileng ga mmogo le barutabana ba rona ba ba ding ba tsaya karolo mo go re thuseng gore re fitlhe fa tiro ya bone ya bonala mme ke re tswellang yalo le tswelele le ko dikolong tse le yang go tsone le di-university le tsweleleng gore ga go felelefa ke lebogile.
La bona ke re gore ga se fela ke re bitsa re ke tiro ya molomo puo e sa ipaakanyediwang akere e sa ipaakanyediwang re mokakale ntwanyana maita sebata e bonwa maralo kontsa right bagaetso room number 232 dithoto tsa gago di santse di le teng ko kamoreng ko ka mo tshaneng ya gago o tlhoka go tla go tsaya selotlolo se ba batla go tsenya motho ka fao bagaetso tswetswe tla o se ka tlhabiwa ke ditlhong o tla fela o ka tla o kukuna bana go lemoga gore o tlela lebaka leo a kere o di lebetse ka phoso o mpone ka bonako bagaetso as I said re fitlhile kwa bokhutlhong yana re fitlhile kwa bokhutlhong ke tlile go kopa gore re modulasetulo wa komiti ya dipuo mo porofenseng re go itse Modimo Seleka a tumele ka kwano ka ditebogo o ska ba lebala ope modulasetulo wa me ga ke go laele ba bangwe ke ba le ko morago ga ise re buisepe ka bone mare ke kile ka bua sengwenyana kwa tshimologong ke raya gore o ska ba lebala ope ga ke batla gore ga ke tswa five ke tshwanetse ke tsamaye ke go sireleditse yanong e le gore ga wa mpone right over to you
Bagaetsho ke a leboga ke lebogele mo tsamaisa tiro re ga re telo le phuthi mo kwaledi wa komiti ya dipuo mo provinceng ke tota ke filwe tiro e potlana ke bonang gantsi batho ba elefatsa ka go itisa magoko a tebogo mme mo gongwe go a tshwanna gore re leboge ba bangwe re ba bitse ka maina ba bangwe re tlhalose ditiro tsa bona ke ne ke eleditse o ka re Mabe a ka bana le fa ha ke dira vote of thanks go tswa mo botitšhereng re phuthi o boa go nna mme ya rahela ka bonako e na nna mathata a South Africa a tsena mo transitioning ya go ya go di-local municipality re Mabe a ba tlhophiwa go nna masepala wa ntlha wa Rustenburg yaanong ne ke eleditse gore a ka ba le a tla re ke aka ga e le gore go ntse ya ke batla go thiba kgang ya gore re phuthi ya gore ke ba leboge botlhe ba ba fa ba ba tlileng le ba ba nnileng le seabe le ba ba tseileng karolo re Mabe ha etsa go tlhophiwa go nna meyara re simolola go ithuta go tsena mo political office. He was requested to do a vote of thanks ko kopano e nngwe e ne e tshwana le yona yaanong ka nako eo batho ba ne ba re prepare di-speech le political speech so bagaetsho re tla biletsa gore re Mabe our newly elected executive mayor from the box a tla go re direla vote of thanks now because go no go santse go tshosanyana re ise re tlwaele seemo se o ne a tlwaetse sa classroom ya bana ke belaela le gore ka nako o na ruta bo grade 7 yana re Mabe a tsena o fitlha tema ba maike yana a ba tsenya tlhogo a bala speech ya sebala a leboga batho go ya ka ditulo tsa bona. Now as he was continuing speaking, people started leaving. And then every time he speaks, he lifts his eyes to check if people are still there. But he kept on talking. So towards the end of his speech, he says, in conclusion, now there's only one person remaining in the hall. When he says in conclusion, so only one person, and then he says, "Bagaetsho ke a leboga, ke batla go leboga le ba ba tsamaileng go a bontsha gore re santse re le bantšha mo pakeng ya democracy yaanong batho ga bana pelo e telele ba tlhole ba batla go itshoka mme le bone ba ba re tlhophileng ba ne ba itshokile ka di-27 ba eme line tse di telele ba re tlhopha yaanong gompieno a re etsa go tsena mo diofising gore re ba leboge ba tsamaya mme ke batla go leboga rra wena yo o dutseng fa gore ko wena hela o nang le pelo e telele ra leboga tshwara hela ya lo mongwe wa me re o la ba re rawe ke kopa o fetse go bua ke batla go tsamaya ke tswa le holo ke batla go tswala holo wena o ntshwareletse o ntse gore wa leo ke a sa tlhola itse gore a re yaanong ga ke ye go ya lolololo ya lore phuti pele ga mongwe wa nthare o tswala holo Ba ga itse re lebogile thata ka kemonokeng ya lona le tshegetso ya lona mo tirong e. Bana botlhe ba ba dirileng bontle mo sekolong tswelelang go dira jalo re mo kakale o le laile ke go batla go kopa komiti gore mo nakong e tlang re simolle le fine le senentse re se dira ke sa itse gore go senyegile kae. We should arrange, is it translation or interpreting tools? Interpreting tools, so that everybody who is here should be able to hear and understand what we say. Instead of having somebody translating from English to Setswana or from Setswana to English. But we'll need those devices in future so that everybody can participate, understand, and laugh as everybody is laughing. Emma, it's 3 alphabets, so it cuts the cost. If somebody translates and charges per alphabet, Setswana would be cheaper than English. So he can get to Natatore. America won't stop us with Emma. That talks more than what is written on the stop sign, on the side. But thank you very much. We were excited when you agreed to our invite, and we'll continue to engage with you further on language matters. I think those issues that you raised, they require us to have a language conference to make sure that some of the issues are being implemented, are being considered. And as our role as PLC, we will make sure that we will inform the government, we will advise the government on those issues that you raise. But Baya Danki and Khan-Khans. Gangans. Kikisekoi, Kirotemideyana, Kitsabileka. Gangans. Lebocha, botle mayo diriling reflection on HIV and COVID-19. Gore rotloetsa gore re dule re rwele di maske le go ikela tlhoko mo merereng yotlhe e re a leboga thata. Mme le ponisa o tokolo ya komiti ke go lebogile. Re motheo o buile ka dinaledi. Ke be ke gopola ga ke itse gore ke ba ba kae kore Dr. Tiba ho ntse o bua ke be ke gopola dio tse dintsi tsa rona tsa maloba. O buile ka dipoeme o bua thata ka dipoeme tsa Africans. Mara be ke gopola poeme ya rona ya Setswana ya ka re motheo na bua ka dinaledi. Be gopola naledi ele ya maribe la kwa pele re go nwa metsi ga ya ne le ke khaupe a ke morate ke rata masilonya and rane re rata ka ni I think ne ke dira ke balance the 2 kana kwe ine re a fitla mo go khama ke thamaga khotsa khama thamaga di megala di gangwa ke kotiko tlhaole ya banna ba go yes ha ke tse gore re ko itse wa itludile yo gore le rona ne ntse re itse gore naledi khona go nwa metsi fela re lebogile Dr. Koitsiwe ka bonontlhotlho bo re fileng bone. Thank you very much. We thank also the structures of PanSALB, Re Mokakale, the chairperson of NLB, for tshegetso ya gago ka dinako tsotlhe mo meletlong e tshwana le leboga lefapha la thuto re Malindi re itumetse thata. La bofelo a re na le kemedi go tswa go lefapheng la thuto ke ha mme Wendima Tsemela ele tona ya lefapha la thuto ke re a semmuso ya ka utleana o bona mo pro ra leboga mme ke tsa gore ane o iponetse ka matlho o tla ngwago tlang o tla tokahatsa tiro e tshwana le o tla oketsa budget re tsene mo memorandum of agreement ke a leboga lebogetse nako ya gago ba ga itse re leboga le barulaganyi ba moletlo botlhe mo boemong jwa lefapha re jobeta ka boeteledipele ba gagwe mo go golaganeng lefapha le West Provincial Language Committee leboga thata re fitisetse madume yao ba ba re amogetseng bra ben mo bojanala ke bona o tsholetsa letsogo batla go lebogiwa re lebogela boitshoko ba gago raitso le pelo e telele ya gago re lebogile leboga le poete ya rona gore natifisetsa moletlo le botlhe ba ba re coverileng a ke itse gore re Phuthuna buile gore re live ya mo go fitlhelong tso bo ikgotlang ko o itharo o tlositse mask o beile mask kanto o tlositse ya no tlhageletsa ha Facebook wa le mathata a social media gore e nnela ruri. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. You really have made us proud for the past 7 years. And it's only because of these learners that we always converge like this in the month of mother tongue. And we encourage bomma le borra go rotloetsa bana go rata puo ya bona. Bana go ne go na le Setswana sa borre basimane ba ne ba se pasa ka dinaledi. Go simolola go hetola no go bua puo ya gamme. Ke bona bogolo ile ba setsana ba ntse ba ke bone hela ba setseleng gore yanong ba ya ntse mo letseleng a ba tswelele go dira yalo ka mahoko a modulasetulo ke leletsa bokutlo jwa beke jo bo monate le gore modimo a le be seatla le nelo ke pula ke a leboga.